Please welcome our next speaker, Adam from Berkeley Crypto Law.
Hello. Should I sit here? Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? So my name is Adam. I'm from Berkeley Crypto Law. Let me just introduce our company first. We are lawyers for crypto blockchain projects. We help with full legal support, starting from drafting policies, obtaining licenses for companies, preparing legal opinions, bank account opening, so full legal support. Additionally, I'm a senior legal counsel at Mercurio. It's a crypto payment infrastructure. You can scan my code. There are all my contacts, so if you want to contact me, you can write in Telegram, WhatsApp, whatever you need. So I think we can move. So today I'm going to talk about crypto regulation, issues that we have, possible solutions, what regulators, local authorities think about it, what crypto companies may do. Most of you may think that like we're working in the decentralized world. We are building a DEX, a DeFi project, so the regulation does not cover us. So I should tell you that things are changing, and in future, in the nearest future, the regulation will cover you too. So it's important to be prepared, to be the first one who has its policies, its licenses, etc. So it's important to know these things. So our main current issues that we have at the moment, I divided them regarding the subjects. First of all, let's talk about exchanges and wallets. These are, in common, these are centralized exchanges and wallets that work with fiat and crypto gateways. Thank you very much. Oops. Great. So, as you may know, today almost every country has its regulation, its license for these kind of companies, and so they have to obtain their licenses, they have to go through a due diligence process, through application processes, and also regulators are working on introducing travel rule. We will talk about this later. I will describe the definition, what it means. Next are DeFi projects. We should say that regulators are concerned about customer protection situations, customer protection rules, and they're working on solving this issue. As for stable coins, I think everyone is aware of the situation that happened to Terra. It's stable coin, and regulators are also concerned about this. They started their investigation of the situation, and they started developing rules to prevent these kind of situations in future. Also, we have NFT projects, of course, and they are considered, regulators consider them to be related to money laundering, to fraud, and also I see that a lot of projects, NFT projects, they are not regulated in terms of copyright, so this also could be an issue. If we talk about all these subjects, we can see inconsistency in regulation between different countries. So, for example, in one country, the definition of crypto, they have one definition of crypto, like, for example, it's security. In other, it is just considered to be goods. In third countries, it is considered to be a special object. So we need some common rules for this in future. So let's start with exchanges and wallets and with licensing. I have divided, as I've said, like most of the countries, they have their licenses, and I have divided them in 3 main categories. You can see the first one are the most advanced jurisdictions, and normally they are the most control-oriented. That means that in these countries, if you obtain these licenses, they will be accepted almost everywhere. Almost every fiat traditional finance institution will accept, would like to work with you to open you a bank account, even though you operate in a high-risk area. Nevertheless, working and obtaining licenses in these jurisdictions is very expensive, and you have to go through a very complicated due diligence and application process. For example, in the United States, projects can pay up to $1,500,000 to obtain necessary licenses in every state where they operate. Let's go next. So next are easy to get licenses. They are fast. You can obtain them faster, cheaper, easier. But the thing is that these are kind of new jurisdictions, so financial institutions may have certain questions to you if they want to work with you. And also we have gray areas in these jurisdictions. The status of crypto, of licensing, is not determined. They either don't have regulation at all, or it is just in the process of development. So the regime is uncertain, but you can also operate from them. Because, for example, in Seychelles Islands, there are a lot of centralized exchanges that operate from this country, or in Turkey. I don't know if anyone visited Turkey in this here, but there are a lot of exchanges, fiat crypto exchanges, even real physical offices in Turkey. Let's go on. Travel rule. Travel rule is a concept that requires crypto companies to obtain information both of the originator and the beneficiary of the crypto transaction. That means, like, if, for example, you have a wallet and you identify your users, in future you will have to identify the users of external wallets to which your users send money, send crypto. And yeah, this applies only to mostly this applies to traditional finances, but this will also come to crypto in the nearest future. And we can see the examples, for example, in the United States, they have travel rule, universal solution technology. This is a non-governmental organization of biggest exchanges in the United States. For example, Coinbase, Kraken, they are part of this system, and they exchange this information between them when their users send money, send crypto. In South Korea, the most popular, the biggest system, travel rule system, is Upbit's travel rule system. It includes its subsidiaries, and they exchange this information between them. As for the European Union, I think 2-3 weeks ago, European Union reached a provisional agreement on travel rule and on other provisions regarding crypto. Yeah, and it is possible that in the EU they will also introduce this kind of system where biggest companies, biggest exchanges will create their own technology and exchange information on their own. So it will be non-governmental, but there will be this requirement, and it is certain. So who will be affected? As I've said before, you may think that if you are working on a DEX, on DeFi, on non-custodial wallet, you are not affected, but I should warn you that these rules are aimed mostly on the centralized protocols, the centralized projects. And I forgot to say that travel rule was created by FATF. You can see their Twitter here. It's a Financial Action Task Force. It's an international organization that prepares these type of concepts of recommendations for local authorities, and then local authorities implement these kind of rules into their legislation. And now you can see that FATF has issued a warning that only 29 out of 98 countries have introduced this travel rule into their legislation, and they encourage more and more countries to do this in future. So we may see these changes really soon. As for other regulatory initiatives, you can see here 3 main news from May to July 22 that I have found. So yeah, this is just an example that DeFi, decentralized projects, will not avoid regulation in the future. So regulations are coming for them too. So we have to be prepared. And as for main aspects, like authorities want to combat money laundering. For this reason, they will have, so just like with centralized exchanges, DeFi will have to identify KYC, KYB their users. They have to collect and report and file suspicious activity reports, just like centralized exchanges. As for protection of customers from fraud, losses, other related risks, there will be licensing, projects will have to do technical audits, and other measures that you can see on the screen. So let's go next, stable coins. Yeah, as I've said before, due to the situation with Terra, with its stablecoin and maybe other stablecoins, regulators, especially in the European Union, in the United States, in South Korea, they are very concerned about this. They are trying to introduce their rules to prevent these kind of things in future. And also, 2-3 weeks ago, as I mentioned, they have reached a provisional agreement regarding crypto, and this also includes regulation for stablecoins. And you can see here main requirements for them. So projects will have to comply with minimum liquidity amounts. They will have to provide with 1-to-1 exchange ratio, and users will need to have an ability to claim their fiat funds at any time and free of charge. As for NFTs, we have, as I've said before, there's a problem, regulators are concerned about the problem of money laundering, and they discussed certain schemes that projects may use to launder their money from illicit activities. You can see the example on the screen. So, for example, like NFTs being sold for large sums, required from the same party, third party for smaller amounts, and like they're using like this scheme to launder this money. And we have an international tax consortium, and it's an organization that prepared certain red flags that could be used to identify money laundering in terms of NFTs. And so this is just a recommendation for now for the local authorities, but this could also be used as a basis for future regulation. So like here are some of the examples you can see. So like clearly overpriced, underpriced NFTs that are traded for frequently in short time windows. I will not like read all of this. You can see them on the screen. Yeah, but the thing is that I just want to say that these are recommendations now, but regulators will definitely use them in future for their laws to make companies comply with them. Yes. So what's next? Yeah. I think that's the last slide that I have. How to get ready for the regulation. As I said before. What decentralized projects can do. Draft their internal policies, be prepared to make them in accordance with general crypto requirements. This could be general requirements for centralized exchanges, wallets, projects. Develop some controlling mechanisms and procedures. These could include technical audits, do them in accordance with requirements that applied to financial institutions, centralized exchanges, and maybe prepare for identifying KYC in your users and for the implementation of travel rule. This could imply, for example, you can discuss partnerships with popular KYC service providers. Just do not imply this right now, but you should have them ready. And as for internal policies, licenses, we can also, our firm can also help you with this if you need this. So you can contact us, or we can find a decision for you and be prepared for the future regulation. I think this is all from my side. You can contact me again, using this QR code if you need anything. Also, I will be glad to answer your questions if you have any.
Yeah, a good idea, because we have a little bit time. So if you have questions, that's the moment. Just let us know.
We have one question here. I can give you the microphone.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you something about one of your last slides about the European Union, about stable coins, the 1:1 exchange ratio. Does it mean that it will be applied by the European Union to stable coins which are emitted even outside of Europe? What's the implication of that agreement in European Union?
Thank you. So here the thing is that the same principle applies to not only stable coins but crypto projects in general. Normally, if a crypto project targets to European market, to European Union residents, normally they have to be registered in any of the European jurisdiction. And right now, this rule does not apply very strictly, even for centralized exchanges, but it will be more strict in future. And the thing is that, yeah, so for example, if there is a stable coin that is issued outside of European Union, and it is commonly used by European Union residents, regulators may force this project to be registered in some EU jurisdiction and to comply with these rules. Yeah. So did I answer your question? Yeah. So this is also under discussion. These are only these are provisions that are under discussion right now, but it is highly possible that these rules will be applied in future. Any other questions?
Okay. If no more questions, thank you very much. You know you can continue to exchange in the Pillar Room.
Thank you.
And around the venue. Thank you very much.
For our next speaker, Nick from Momentum.
Let's just get this set up properly. So can I see a show of hands? Can everyone raise their hand if they've heard of the Kasama Verse? Seeing a few hands. And can you raise your hands again if you have actually flown around in the Kasama Verse? A few hands as well. Excellent. Okay, well, hello. I'm here today to talk about the Kasama Verse, something which I'm very honored to be doing to share with all of you, because it is something that I feel very, very passionate about. And yeah, this is my first time public speaking, so if I seem nervous, that's because I really, really am. And the clicker isn't working. Fantastic. Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Nick Rutherford, and I'm a Unity developer from the UK. I started my internet journey pretty much right at the beginning of the day. My first actual project was a decidedly Web 1 GeoCities page for my high school. And then after that, I went to university and I became a web developer. And I've done pretty much everything in Web 2. I've done crawling, SEO, chatbots, pretty much everything that I've done. And the big thing for me that I've always done that with startups. And startups I absolutely love working with, because every day is a different problem. There are different things that need to be solved. Every day is a challenge. And if there's one thing I really, really love, it is solving problems. So my journey with Momentum began a while ago when a Dutch guy called Rutger got hold of me and said, we really, really need an online hackathon. And the big thing was this online hackathon arena had to have thousands of people working together. It had to have meaningful integrations, meaningful tools. It had to allow people to create together and, most importantly, collaborate on solutions. And this is what Momentum did before COVID hit, before I started the journey. Thousands of people in one location solving problems. And what was really exciting was there were tangible results. These were some of the biggest hackathons in all of Europe. And how on earth would you be able to recreate this online? So the big thing with me was the fact that there were the big thing is with the hackathon actually had to support thousands and thousands of users. It had to have online meaningful interactions, and all of this had to happen within a web browser. And as I said, I love solving problems. The deadline was 3 months away. And my big takeaway is this: how do you replicate this? How do you take this and actually have that all happening inside a web browser? And more importantly, how do you do that in 3 months? So spoiler alert, we managed to do it. It was the 3 months of intense work, prototyping, throwing ideas at the wall and seeing what would actually work. And what was amazing about this hackathon was people were resonating with it. It made sense for them. It was a case of they explored, they joined, they built together. And what they did was they produced a lot of very, very cool projects. So, excuse me. One of the big things that affected us was, obviously, we had thousands of people in this environment, and it worked. They produced tangible results together. And with this sort of thing happening, what we did was we did a pivot, and at Momentum, we absolutely love pivoting. We ended up creating metaverses for different clients. And these are some of the metaverses that we created for them. So with this in mind, we were seeing tangible results from these metaverses. We created them for clients, and what happened was the clients were actually producing tangible results. We produced metaverses that let them collaborate together. We made metaverses to let them be productive together. And in one case, even a metaverse for people to read poetry to each other. So what was amazing with this was that this was the tangible results that we were actually getting from these metaverses. And my personal favorite one is when I spent a week in Amsterdam getting a tree talking to the metaverse. Now, I know it sounds ridiculous, a tree talking to the metaverse, but it was an amazing way of showing that cross-collaboration actually works, and it works really, really well. Not only did we have a very cool project at the end of the day, we also spread a very, very important message about the importance of listening to nature. Something didn't resonate right with us. I mean, we could keep creating these metaverses for different clients and these little closed communities that would allow this collaboration, but what was the point? And this is where we discovered you lot, the Dotsama community, a collection of people who were co-collaborating together, who were not competing, but were collaborating. And this really, really resonated with us. It was very powerful for us to find people who very much resonated with what we were doing as well. So this is what inspired us to create our Milestone 1 proposal and submit it to the Treasury. And the idea with the Milestone 1 proposal was to create a home for the entire ecosystem, where we could work together, where we could build together, where we could go on this adventure together. And so that is when I will now show you the Kasama Verse. So here we have the Kasama Verse, and what you can see here, let me take you through very quickly the elements. So we have this giant ring here, and that is obviously the relay chain, and around it the different blocks that are appearing and being validated. We also, around the outside, have the parachains providing utility to absolutely everything that is going on. And if I can get this open. We've also got different elements going on here. So we have up here the operators. So people that are owning different validator nodes. And right at the top here, we have 1,000 different validator nodes, all sitting there. And as you can see, that they beam down data down into the relay chain, into these blocks that are being validated. So that is the Kasama Verse. And you can see right here in the middle, we have the main lobby. And we have different partner platforms for different very cool projects that have approached us and said, hey, we'd like a space in the metaverse. So that's the live demo over. And what I'm going to talk about very briefly, and I've got to keep this brief because this is a bit that I absolutely love talking about, and this is the technical stack behind the scenes. So very briefly, what we have is the relay chain. And the relay chain sits there and it obviously does what a relay chain does. And we have different elements that respond to that. The stack itself behind the scenes is actually fairly complex. But let's just look at the front end for now. So the front end consists of two distinct parts. There is the React, which is the traditional web framework, and then there is Unity, which is everything 3D, all the visuals, all the things that are going on. So from the functionality point of view, React provides 90% of the functionality. It provides the stage mode, it provides the integration for collaboration, it provides everything. The Unity thing, and I'm saying this from a Unity development point of view, is much more interesting than the React. So Unity itself is actually a thin client. There is no logic behind the scenes. There is no assets even. So the assets themselves are provided by something called Unity Addressables. And what happens when Unity receives a message from the controller, it loads these addressables. And this brings me on to the controller. The controller is the most important bit of the entire stack. It contains all the logic. It knows the positions of every single object. It is pretty much the god behind the momentum stack. So let me just work you through like a very quick example. If, for instance, one of these parts, so the reflector of a harvester that actually monitor the relay chain, let's say a new validator is added. That information is relayed to the controller, and the controller will sit there and knows exactly the position of everything else. And if we're to add a new validator to that giant cloud of 1,000 objects, then we need to recalculate all those positions. And this happens within the controller. So the controller itself will calculate all these positions and then send that to Unity. Unity will be sitting there and will be quite happily doing nothing, and then suddenly the controller sends messages and is like, we need to update this. So Unity itself will set up a bunch of movement jobs to start moving everything about. And once those movement jobs are complete, then the new validator object will be spawned. But what's really interesting about this is that it just looks beautiful. With that big cloud of 1,000 objects, seeing all these things move as one, just to make one thing appear, it's absolutely, if you get a chance to see it, it's really worth it, because it is very, very gorgeous to watch. So this is going to sound like a bit of a tangent, but one of my own personal goals with the Kasama Verse is to get my parents into crypto. And I know that sounds a bit ridiculous, but if I told them 15 years ago, they would be watching me on the internet talking about blockchain whilst using a social network to share memes with their friends, they would have looked at me and been like, what the heck? I think everyone here in this room knows that mainstream crypto adoption is coming, and metaverse adoption. And it is just the case that if we can lower barriers to entry to bring people on board, they will come. So this isn't directly tied to this slide. So these slides are our milestone 2 goals, which are what we are hoping to achieve in the next year. And I won't go into these in too much detail. Excuse me, it's very hot down here. So with the milestone 2 goals, we're hoping to bring more of the more functionality into the Kasama Verse, more things on chain. And the big thing for us is that like I said, I'm not going to go into them in detail. If you want to, you can read the proposal. It's on chain now. You can read it. You can see what we can do. And it goes into a lot more detail than I can actually do right now. So this is something which I'm very, very excited about to share with you. And so do you remember those parachain objects when I was doing the live demo, those little spheres that were round the relay chain? Now, each one of those are actually a placeholder. There is a dashboard behind each one where you can click on it and talk and everything like that. But what if we replaced it with something cooler, something much, much cooler? So imagine you're flying around the Kasama Verse, and you see the Astar space, for example, and you click on it. And you click on it, and a dashboard doesn't open, but a little point of light appears. And that light grows and expands and gets bigger and bigger until it fills your entire screen. And then suddenly you're pulled into a wormhole. You're moving left, you're moving right through this Stargate-like wormhole. And then all of a sudden, you're pushed out of this wormhole, and you're in the Astar metaverse. Metaverse that they've built, they've hosted. It's their assets. It has their functionality built into it. And all of this has happened seamlessly. You've moved one metaverse from one metaverse to another metaverse. This, I think, is incredibly exciting because it's proving that the metaverse is for everyone. And when we're talking about this, so I'm using Astar as an example. But it shouldn't just be parachains or big entities that can actually set up these metaverses. The metaverse should be for everybody. Anyone should be able to set up, install their functionality, and just basically work and potentially earn from their own metaverse if they want to. We've pushed everything that we've got open source. So the idea there is that people can already start taking our code and setting up their own metaverses. So this is what I like to call the triple aspect. So we have three things to help enable the ability of... sorry, you threw me there a little bit. So with I've completely lost my space now. Okay, so yes, okay, triple aspect, there we go. Right, I do apologize. So with this, we have three distinct bits of functionality. We have a 3D world builder, which we'll be talking about a lot more coming forward. We have the utility plugins, which I'll be talking about next slide, and the drive token. Now, the drive token is the thing that actually pushes everything. So with a drive token, we're hoping to set up a decentralized social network. The goal with the drive token itself is to allow people to connect metaverses to other metaverses, to grow and encounter other people and collaborate together, because the magic happens when you bring people together. So this is another slide. So what we're trying to do is create plug-and-play infrastructure. So for instance, if you want to set up a metaverse, you start a Docker image. You go to a website and start an instance. But with the plugin, the utility plugin, what we're very much hoping to do is to allow node owners and world owners the ability to press buttons and turn on functionality that they want. So, I mean, maybe you want staking, and you can stake currently, so that's a plugin module that you could turn on, and suddenly your metaverse supports staking. So the big thing, if you take one thing away from this presentation, is what Momentum is going to be is a decentralized social network, and is going to be the WordPress of metaverses. Because everyone knows WordPress, everyone knows how it works, and we're very much actively following that model. So with the plugin functionality, with the drive token, with the utility plugins, these are all things that work together to help achieve our vision of the metaverse. And I want to say the big thing is that we love our community. We want the community involved, and we can involve the community in every single thing we can do. So we regularly run community meetups inside the Kasama Verse, where there is, it's on Friday, I believe, every single week, where you can come, we bring the community in together, we talk to them, we run exercises, ideas, and things like that to get feedback. And the big thing is we really do listen to and log every single bit of feedback we can do, because this is an adventure we're on, and we can't go on this adventure without you. We want to build the home for everyone, not just the .sama ecosystem, but absolutely everyone should be able to run and take place in the governance of these metaverses. So what I'm trying to actively say is definitely please get involved, fly around the metaverse a bit, and yeah, and I forgot one thing, obviously. So there is also, this is the best bit because I run it. So also on every Thursday, we do something called a technical talk, where I sit down and I talk about an aspect of the stack in quite a lot of detail. and for that is a lot of fun. And if you're a developer, please come along to one of those sessions. That would be awesome. So I think that's pretty much it from me for now. So I'm going to say thank you very much to listen to me drone on for a few minutes. And yeah, I will just say very much no hype, no land, no shortcuts. Please, please, please come and join our adventure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nick. Maybe some question for Nick, if you agree to answer it.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's really weird down here. You hear your own echo.
If you have questions, just let us know. Nobody?
No?
Any questions? It was really clear. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Brilliant. Cheers.
Okay, perfect. We just need now 1 minute to make a technical change, and we'll be back with the next speaker. Thank you.
Our next speakers, Thomas and Markian from Super Colony, will begin shortly. As promised, please welcome Thomas and Markian from Super Colony.
Hello. Hey, everyone. I think we missed the clicker for the presentation. One second. Yes? Sure.
Sorry, technical problems. Clicker
We'll lose it.
disappeared. 1 second.
Let's chill and wait. Markian, how's your mood? Good? Are you ready?
Okay. The solution, I could change the slide for you because we are searching for the remote. It seems to be like that. Did you find the remote? No.
Okay,
Just make me a
sorry.
sign and I will change the slide for you.
So,
Can we put it on the computer? We have the glitter for.
give Give me that.
It was all time.
Cool. Finally. So, hey everyone, after some technical issues. So, my name is Toma. I'm SuperColony Market Growth Lead, product owner of OpenBrush, and Polkadot Alliance leader. So, a few words about who we are. SuperColony is a venture studio. We are building companies and product, helping Polkadot and cross-chain companies, and companies who are interested to be in Polkadot. As a venture studio, we are dedicated to converting business idea into real working businesses and increase market capitalization of these companies. So we created, about our background, we created OpenBrush, we created PSP22, so yeah, and SuperColony is co-founding a gaming metaverse platform called Asylum, and we help to make them successful. By the way, Markian is going to talk about it tomorrow more deeply with details. So the global vision of SuperColony is ecosystem creation, taking leadership, and creating the way if there isn't one, like with the Polkadot Alliance. So, and now CEO of SuperColony, Markian, will tell more about our vision. Here we go.
Yeah. So I'm going to start with the little storytelling. If you remember, in early 90s, sorry, not 90s, actually 70s, it was believed by IBM that America needs only a dozen of computers and only for universities. Later, a few years later or a decade later, Apple created a first user-accessible computer and changed that. And so I believe this is also something that we need to do with blockchain industry, as currently we see that the industry is not very user-accessible. It's hard to enter the industry, it's hard to operate inside it. But how does that relate to the Polkadot Alliance? So the problem, what's the problem here? What problem what we are trying to solve? If you are long in the Polkadot ecosystem, you probably experience that inside the ecosystem there is this really great vibe of contribution. But beside it, there is also some feeling of a centralization, and in terms of infrastructure, that all tools and all the key fundamental things are developed by only one company, and its name is Parity. And we have a great governance system. Maybe there are some room for improvements, but like fundamentally, government is working pretty good. But when you try to do a government proposal and get some funding for your infrastructure project, it's not very easy to do it. Also, those who has done it has also experienced that the infrastructure projects are not very much incentivized. It's like the rates that are willing to be given are not very big, and so you are naturally incentivized to launch your own business than to do an infrastructure thing. But if you look fundamentally, actually, what's really important for the ecosystem and what makes the businesses grow and the ecosystem grow is this, is really the infrastructure things, as they drive developer to the ecosystem and they make the speed of development more faster, and well, they make business more successful. If you have a long development cycle, that hurts your business. And what's the solution we can think about? We really believe that in a decentralized ecosystem, the ecosystem growth should be derived decentralized as well. And so what is the Alliance? You all have seen this picture. Here you see on a technology level, you have a relay chain and you have parachains. This is what we basically want to do with the Alliance. by the alliance, the idea is to connect the parachain leaders, but not only parachain leaders, all the key leaders of the ecosystem, to connect them on the mind-to-mind level. As here, what we already have on Polkadot, and this is working great, we have all of them connected on a technology level. Now what we need to do is to connect them on a mind-to-mind level and drive the ecosystem forward. And Toma is going to tell you the details of it.
Good. Yeah, I will continue with the key statements about Polkadot Alliance. So, Polkadot Alliance, it's alliance of the key players in the ecosystem. As Markin mentioned, it could be leaders of parachains, just people and companies who are really interested and take care about the ecosystem growth. I guess we have a lack of this passion right now. And what is more, this is place for solving market requests. What it could be, for example, I don't know, we need some tool for smart contract development. Easy, we'll get funding for that. We'll help with the mentorship, with the how to do that, how to find the right capacity, the right technology for that. It's a safe place to discuss blockers and problems in the ecosystem. Polkadot Alliance will build DAO principles. What is more, it's a flexible and adaptive to changes. It's decentralized. We could be more flexible in changing some rules. If we need to change the government or council member for Alliance, we're up to that. It's just a meeting of people who are really interested in speeding up the ecosystem growth. And my favorite one, it's a place where having only one resource as funding, problem, or capacity, you could use the Polkadot Alliance to solve your real problem. What do you mean by that? For example, you're just upcoming team, you have a passion, the leaders, but you want to do some really important for the ecosystem, but you don't know what to do. You don't have the exact problems. We'll have the list of that, the request that you can do, and get the good support and funding for that. So, how does Alliance works? So, the Alliance will have monthly sync-ups to discuss the vision, strategy, and next steps in Polkadot ecosystem growth. Members of Alliance will make decisions via government voting regarding issues from the community, such as lack of infrastructure tools, resources, knowledge, events. Each member will vote using his or her token power on-chain. The Alliance will be responsible for the delivery, of course, of the voted points. And yeah, Polkadot Alliance will offer a treasury focused on funding development, researches, events, that efforts in Polkadot. And I know from my personal experience how it's hurtful right now to get the Polkadot treasury funding or even the grant. It took so much time and so much effort, and it shouldn't work like that. If you want to do something really important for the ecosystem, it should be easy way to do that. So yeah, we're going to do this process easier and improve this experience. What is more, we will have a pool of the products researchers requested, like to-do list with a fixed price. So, as I mentioned before, the newcomers could just get it, and it could be a really good starting point. The product that they will implement, and it will be launched on Polkadot Alliance platform. So yeah, the community could request to Polkadot Alliance for any kind of need, and yeah, then DAO will vote for that and get the support if you need funding, capacity, and etc. So yeah, how DAO will work? The Alliance will be based on DAO principles, so it means that the Alliance token mainly serving the purpose of voting rights in the Alliance and being the reward token for active contribution to the growth of the Alliance and the ecosystem in general, so kind of bounty. And the treasury function of DAO will stimulate developers and business leaders and community to identify and work on crucial infrastructure projects. So yeah, this is a few key statements that how DAO will work. Organizes allocation to be founding members of Alliance, all following token, distribution to new members, as well as payment for services and development. Yep. And really important one, so to get the funding from Polkadot Alliance, it's not only about the money, it's about trust and support from the key players, the active one in the ecosystem. For example, with the infrastructure tools, you created something for smart contracts. Okay, the best people in the ecosystem who work with the smart contracts will review it, will help with that, will navigate with you what could be your next steps, how to improve it, how to use it really, how to find the businesses which will work on that, and help the marketing promotion. Who will be the Polkadot Alliance members? It will be strong, stable, and active companies, not only leaders of parachain, just the company who are interested in ecosystem growth, and who are really open for changes and flexible. Important one. What the benefits for the community and Polkadot Alliance members? So, Polkadot Alliance will see the progress and growth of the ecosystem just above that company to be ensured that Polkadot ecosystem follows the best way. We will be not focused on some chain. We will be above this process. Polkadot Alliance will give a big piece of trust to the community that, okay, it's not a scam project, it's a good one. Polkadot Alliance will build the vision of future and public eye things, like what will be in 3 years, what's going on with the XCM, what the next steps. We'll give this vision to the community by some, not just educational thing, but it could be open discussions with the Polkadot Alliance. Polkadot Alliance will affect and help to grow the company members' capitalization. And Polkadot Alliance will enhance Polkadot marketing. And, I think marketing, it's not just about making it just knowing about that. Marketing is about interactive and this attract to enter, that it's usable. You could do that. Not just, okay, Polkadot, good one, brilliant technology, so the end. We should use it somehow. And the Polkadot Alliance leaders will show it. How to become a member of Alliance. Apply for membership on Polkadot Alliance platform. It's coming soon, so just wait for that. And get the support of the trusted company which is already there. So it's open, you will see who's already part of the Polkadot Alliance and member of that. And what are the next steps? The next steps, it's call with all the members of the Polkadot Alliance and to highlight the next steps, what will be, how we'll get the funding first, launch the platform, and start using it. Right now, we are on the stage when we wait for launching our platform, and we're talking with the members of Alliance. So let's keep in touch. If you have any question, please reach out to me or Mark-Jan. Subscribe and follow our Twitter and other social media. So if you have any questions, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your speech. Do you have a little bit time to answer some questions, if we have?
I didn't see anything. So.
No, I'm here. Okay. I'm just here in the room. I asked if it was possible to take some questions, if we have.
Everything is clear.
It's possible also.
I'm happy.
Do you have some question or no? Nothing to add? It's okay. Perfect. It was
Good.
very clear.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much.
And for our last speaker of the day, please welcome Yev from Haken.
Hi, everyone. So I try to be short, but really important, because security is something that, okay, thank you, that shouldn't be carried at the last. So it's something that you should hear when you're starting any project. My name is Evgenia. I'm a co-founder and CBDO at Haken. I've been working in cybersecurity for the last 10 years and in crypto 8. I will try to make it short and just share some tips how to stay secure in Web3 and what you should do with your project, not only in the level of smart contracts, but also on the operations level, on the applications level. So briefly about Haken, we are a smart contract auditor. We also do penetration testing and bug bounties, so helping Web3 projects to be secure for the last 5 years. We've been doing that starting from ICO boom in 2017, helping to prevent different scams and also find vulnerabilities in ICO websites, smart contracts, and on different levels. We also have a bug bounty platform called Hakenproof, which is used by Avalanche, FTX, and a lot of others. Yeah, and today just want to share some statistics about cybersecurity. I'm pretty sure all of you heard how much we are losing every day because of misconfigurations, hacks, phishing, social engineering, and all that. These numbers are scary, and we're not getting better, honestly. But still some positive vibes, because when we started back in 2017, security was a nice feature, but not something that every project founder thinks. As for now, we have different crypto exchanges, IDO platform, venture funds, some regulators. They ask about cybersecurity before they do any interactions with the project, because it's kind of due diligence that everyone should do before interacting with anyone. Because at the end of the day, it's just cybersecurity, not only cybersecurity risks, but definitely it's reputation losses, it's money losses. Just look at the price of any token once it's been hacked. I guess there is nothing to comment here. Yeah, and if we are checking that over the history, that's not getting much better, honestly, because it looks like it grows, and we are in the middle of the year. And the numbers kind of compare to the last year and even more. So what's going to be in this market till the end of the year? That's a question. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you heard about all these cases. You can go and check at Rect News or somewhere, the leaderboard of hacks and what's happened there. But what to do to prevent that? Because cybersecurity is kind of investment in your secure future, and good reputation and trust from community, from investors, from everyone. If we think about the project, like any Web3 project in the backend, at the end of the day, we have just a website, we have infrastructure, we have smart contracts, we have operations and teams that's building that, and communities. And I want to just go briefly over all these key components and the risk associated with that and how we can prevent that. Simple steps. Starting from team operations, because phishing, social engineering, like internal attackers, that's something that we don't hear because we hear only about exploits, but a lot of projects just suffering from that. And if we are talking about the basic steps that every company owner should do, starting from operational security, of course, education about their users, like device protection, password managers. I don't know how many of you use password managers because it's still very easy, but a lot of projects just don't think about that before anything happens. And also, yeah, it's good to have security engineers inside if you're big enough for that, or just have security-wise person who can set up all these processes and control that. Yeah, next up about users, investors, and community. You must probably heard a lot about phishings and a lot about fake websites, fake Google ads that leading you to fake websites with a fake wallets, or, for example, for fake Twitters, spreading fake wallets that's gathering money. So it's also good to be aware of that and not to be the victim of that. So good to have first properly set up in your emails, because it's also the part that helps phishing guys to do that job properly and get a profit out of that. Yeah, using two-factor authentication, strong password policies, that's the basic that every project should think about while enforcing their users to do it properly. If you're, for example, going to check crypto exchanges, they all have these password policies, so I say that you should have strong password, long enough, with capital letters, with special characters. So think about that twice. And now, like every company pushes their users to do security properly, having these anti-phishing codes, 2FAs, and all that. If you're talking about web and mobile apps, definitely the security of that should start at the beginning of development, not after everything is finished. So it should be security mindset first and security by design. So while you're doing your development, think about security. There is like different secure SDLC and a lot of guidance how to do that properly. And also once you're done with the security development, do some like automatic checks that you can do by yourself, check, do source code review. And after that, you can attract additional eyes, additional team members like penetration testing team who can find vulnerabilities in the on the application level. So do this penetration testing engagements regularly. For example, for crypto exchanges, there is a requirement to have that at least annually, but I'm pretty sure they're updating their applications that fast that once a year, that's definitely not enough. And also, the next step, so every time you do security, you should do defense on depth. So first step, next step, yeah, once all the walls have fallen, you should have something to prevent that. And last but not least, to have bug bounty and engage ethical hackers to help you reveal vulnerabilities before bad guys actually exploit them and do something bad. So internal security, external security, crowdsourced security. And in the end of the day, it's good to have insurance. If we're going forward for infrastructure, yeah, that's the most, I guess, the most popular one is DDoS attacks, especially while projects doing different investment rounds for communities, gathering money. Good to think about that before. And set up infrastructure properly, have backups, and also it's important to monitor the perimeter you have in order to spot the activity like from not ethical actually, black hat hackers before. Yeah, and also it's important to secure your intellectual property, your domain names, because I'm pretty sure you heard about domain takeovers, and that's a problem for, and it costs a lot usually for domains. Yeah, also having the security incidents response plan, that's good because if you are not ready for a security incident, that will happen and you will have some problems and don't understand who is responsible for what they should do, what's the next steps. If we're talking about smart contracts and blockchain protocols, there is some advices that definitely that it's good to have everything documented before, everything tested before, and also having done internal security checks and external audits. And it's good to have a couple of them from different firms, and also having bug bounty in place. If we're talking why do we need audits, definitely first, security. Second, it's more about trust for your community, for your investors. Also about advices how actually to check the functionality you have and receive some feedback on that. Yeah, and to make it properly from the first attempt. You can go to any auditors, but the most important is that you should do that, like to understand the capabilities they have, their specialization, and go to the right one, and definitely reserve these spots in advance as far as it's like really busy market. Yes, and it's good to be prepared for the audits because you don't want to pay for something that you can scan, fix before the audit. You definitely want to pay for some intellectual work and not auditors checking your failed test or something like that. Yeah, so first, security mindset, then prepare proper documentation, test cases, and also request for auditors what do you expect from them, what do you want to receive as a result. We have the methodology you can share that's more like recommendations how to design that properly and what you can get out of audit, how to prepare for that, and what you can't get out of that. Next up is about bug bounties. I'm pretty sure you heard about this million bug bounties that is in the market. And it's interesting that after hacks, not like the hack damage was way higher than the bounties. That's why probably it's happened. Oh no, that's a question. You can go to any of bug bounty providers or do it by yourself. There is traditional bug bounty providers like HackerOne or Bugcrowd, more of Web2, or Web3 oriented like Hackenproof or Immunify or Hats Finance. Yeah, and last but not least, once all the barriers passed, it's good to have insurance in place that cover the losses you might have. And it's good to have that before it's happened. There were some successful cases of insurance coverage, and a lot of insurance providers cooperate with bug bounties, and they pay for these critical bugs from insurance in order, to minimize these risks. And it's good to have to pay bounty rather than the hack case coverage. Yeah, that's all. And yeah, thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to address them. And be proactive with your security until it's too late. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe some question, I don't know if you agree. If you have a question. It seems to be it was really clear.
Yeah, it's easy. Security is easy.
Thank you very much, and good evening. So it's time to say goodbye. It was the last speaker. Thank you to join us. See you tomorrow for another complete day with some 3 workshops on the level 9 and a huge program on the main stage. Thank you for joining us and have a nice evening. We hope to see you tomorrow with a lot of people. Nice evening, see you tomorrow, thank you.